Make sure Ms. Rivers can hear us. I don't see her mic on.
Oh, she's sitting 6 feet in front of me, so
Oh, okay.
she can hear me.
All right.
Yeah, her camera is not, she doesn't need a camera, so her screen is on.
Yeah, I forgot she was coming into the office.
Yep, it's Thursday. So I'm on now, and it sounds like you can hear me, Ms. Nelson?
Yes, yes.
Great.
I can.
Okay, and we are live on YouTube. And this meeting's, we need to let people in. Okay, all right.
Good morning.
All right, let's get started. We have an inquiry calendar and then maybe a plea with Mr. Nandanki. Is he here? Great, fantastic. We'll take the calendar in order and see who's here. Position 1 is State versus Willie Grover. There's Mr. Grover. Excellent. Mr. Grover is here. There's an attorney listed that I don't know, Kamei Jackson. That's not someone from the...
Once upon a time, I think she left our office in 2012, 2013.
Entirely possible, since this is an 11 SC case.
Yeah, she used to be my trial partner. So
well, you better know who that is.
know who it is.
So let's see, Mr. Grover, you are on here to see if you have complied with the conditions in your probation revocation order, which I'm pulling up right now. So in February of this year, you were continued on probation. You were supposed to get your GED, or at least start working on that, pay some restitution, do some community service. I can't imagine you're supposed to do all of that by now, but what's been going on? I can't hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm all right. Well, I started my GED.
Good.
I can show it to you on my phone. I got the email.
Okay.
I got me a job.
What are you doing?
Construction. I start Monday. I can show you the email in my phone.
You started last Monday, or you started?
No, I start this Monday. I go for my drug screen tomorrow. I start my job Monday.
How'd you get the job?
Through a friend.
A friend.
Yeah.
Okay. And what will you be? Construction's a big field. Will you have a hammer or a drill, or what do you do?
So like we're gonna be putting up like the little fences on the expressways.
Yikes. All right. Stay out of traffic.
And you remember just the update. You remember my mama, she trying to pay the restitution. You remember you said when I came, you gonna deduct all the other fees,
right? And
I just had to pay the $1,000 restitution.
Right.
But I've been getting a runaround from Officer Priest, my probation officer. You know what I'm saying? He like, because it was showing that it still showed that I owed $4,000 some. And he was like, well, Mr. Grover, don't pay nothing yet because you paid $1,000. A piece of the money gonna go here, a piece of the money gonna go there. And then he was like, my sister address, the 1321 address that I got on file, that it's not a Fulton County address, it's a DeKalb County address. So he tried to send me to DeKalb County probation, and DeKalb County sent me back to Fulton County probation.
So a little bit of a runaround. Well, let's unwind all that. So first, where is this job? Where are you going?
Sandy Springs.
Okay. How is community service going?
You remember your words was, don't worry about that right now because due to COVID. So I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't been trying to do community service right now. I've been working on the other stuff.
Okay. Well, we can turn to that soon because now we're told you don't need to wear masks if you've been vaccinated. Everyone can get vaccinated. You should get vaccinated if you haven't. It's easy to do. It's free. And you're going to be working. I bet your employer would like that to be the situation. So you start work on Monday.
Yes, sir.
And you're enrolled in a GED.
Yes, sir.
When did
I'm taking it online.
Okay, that's how a lot of people do it. When did you start?
Like 2 weeks ago. But I got to pay for it's a GED class that I signed. I got to pay for every test. So if I fail this part of the test, I got to wait like 6 weeks to take it over. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. When's your first test?
My phone.
What will the subject of the test be?
Well, I started with mathematics.
Ooh, why'd you pick that?
Because they said pick your favorite subject.
Oh,
first.
all right. So then you picked what you wanted, not what you're afraid of. But what you
Exactly.
wanted. Good for you.
Right here. Going to it now. I ain't catching no good service right here.
I saw that. I don't understand. This meeting, we need to let people in. It's a different setup, but she's in now.
Man, I ain't getting no good service right here, but it's right here on my phone though.
Okay, I don't need to see it so much. It's just, so what you're doing is you're taking math.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm started with math, but it folks like science, language arts, science, social studies, then math. But I started with math.
And you pay
$40. It's $40 to take the math test, $40 to take the science test, $50 for the language art test, and $40 for the science test.
And if you pass the math test, are you done with math, or then there's a level 2 test you have to take after
I'm
that?
with math, and I got to pay for the next one.
So whatever the test is, it's the GED part. You pass that, that's basically you're done with high school math.
Exactly.
That's great. You feel like it's going to work out?
I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of hard, but I think I can do it.
It is kind of hard. That's why you want to do the homework. Well, good for you. That's impressive. I hope the math goes well. And then what are you going to get paid? Is it hourly, or they just pay you per job?
Hourly every week. I'm gonna be making $14 an hour.
That's great.
$21 overtime.
Okay. And does it sound like there'll be overtime?
Definitely gonna be overtime. I work from Monday through Saturday.
Okay. But is overtime if you work a 6th day during the week, or is overtime if you work a 9th hour in the day?
I get my overtime started at 40 hours.
Okay. So you work 40 hours.
From
The 41st hour, you get $21.
After the 40 hours, I started $21. That's overtime.
Okay. So you have an incentive to get to that 41st hour.
They're gonna be Monday. They're gonna be the Thursday. I'm gonna be in overtime. So the first 4 days gonna be 40 hours because I work from 7 to 5.
How are you getting to work?
Transportation. I got a vehicle. My sister got a vehicle.
Okay. So you're relying a lot on your sister.
They love me.
They love you. You're lucky. All right. So no more MADRC. We took that off. You're getting your GED. Started a little late, but you're doing it. And the restitution, we're stuck because your probation officer is saying, wait, you need to pay your arrearage. We're looking at the order. The order says, wipe the arrearage clean.
He said, I can get him on the phone because he was looking in the computer. He was like, I don't see nothing from the judge saying that the fees been waived, such and such and such. So I really was waiting until I came back to court to see what you had to say about the whole situation, because I've been getting a runaround. My mama's so ready to pay them $1,000, ridiculous.
And then you're going to pay your mom back with your $21 an hour overtime?
Yeah, she can get it back.
Okay. So 1321 Memorial Drive, that's your home address?
Yes, sir.
1321 Memorial Drive, Atlanta. GA, what's the zip? If you know it. Pardon me?
30317.
Say it one more time.
30317.
That's in DeKalb County.
It's really on the borderline, because I stay in the middle, like Atlanta and DeKalb, so really it's either one.
Okay, it is legally, it's city of Atlanta, but part of city of Atlanta is in DeKalb. If Moreland is the dividing line. So if you are east of Moreland, you're still in city of Atlanta, but it's DeKalb County. And there's nothing wrong with you living in DeKalb County. It's not a requirement or anything here. It's just, that's why probation may be saying do this. So we've got a probation officer on this call, and we're gonna chat with her a little bit to see what we need to do. So I'm not saying, someone else needs to be let in. Here comes our probation officer. She wasn't in, but now she's in. If that's a good, safe, stable place for you to be on Memorial Drive, you should stay there. You should just know it's in DeKalb County. And so Fulton, Mr. Lawrence, are you coming back?
Yeah.
Okay. But we'll find out from Ms. Crawford. Good morning, Ms. Crawford.
Good morning.
We have, you've joined us just in time because we have Mr. Grover here, who's provided a good update on how things are going for him. But we've got a couple issues we could use your help with.
Okay.
He lives on Memorial Drive, and he is one of the handful of folks who are city of Atlanta, but DeKalb County. And so he's explained that he's getting a little bit of ping pong of, you need to go to DeKalb, no, you need to go to Fulton. And so I'm hoping you can help clear that up. More important, I think, is whoever he's working with, your officer's name again?
Officer Priest?
Priest?
Yes, sir.
Like church?
Yeah, like a priest.
Priest. Okay, Officer Priest has been telling Mr. Grover that he needs to be paying down his supervision arrearage. But I'm looking at the order that I signed, and it may have been that the words you and I used, Ms. Crawford, aren't clear to Officer Priest or folks at the probation administration. But the intent of the order was that arrearage was to be wiped clean. What you wrote was clear arrearage of supervision fee. That somehow hasn't made it into the system. So when Mr. Grover has been trying to pay this restitution, he's told, well, some of that will go to restitution and some of it's going to go to this arrearage you have in fees. And he's reluctant to pay it because it should all go to restitution. So I'm just wondering who we should talk to get that cleared up on the DCS side.
Good morning. So I'm trying to pull, there was an email that was sent out between Mr. Priest and myself and the supervisor. And what they said was that the arrearage has been cleared, but they want him to still pay for March because the arrearage is the past due amount, but they still want him to pay for March and April.
That's fine. If it's just March and April, there's nothing in here that says he shouldn't pay his supervision fees. And he just told us the great news. He's about to make $14 an hour, but he's going to work enough hours each week that he'll get some serious overtime as well. So paying ongoing supervision is appropriate. I guess that's just what needs to be cleared up, that the arrearage then it's a pretty small number. It was a big old number before, and that went away. And Mr. Grover is much more engaged with the whole process now, getting his GED, et cetera. So it sounds like Ms. Crawford can help here, but it could be that you and is Priest male or female?
Male.
Male. So Mr. Priest, you and Mr. Priest may have been talking past each other a little bit. You do need to pay your supervision fee for March, because I signed this order in late February. So March 2021 onward, you're going to pay that little bit each month for supervision. It's all that stuff in the past that you don't need to pay. So it could have been you showed up with 1,000 and Priest, when he was saying, hey, a little bit's going to be taken out, it would be for the 2 months, March and April, that you hadn't paid yet. That's correct. So you may just need to talk to Mr. Priest, and if he says it's $68, then bring in $1,068, and that'll cover those 2 months. That number will keep going up if you're not paying. It'll be every month from March 2021 onward. But that's why you're getting a job. You're going to take care of your responsibilities and you're going to pay your monthly supervision fee. But if you're told, no, man, it goes back to 2020, 2019, then you do need to say there's a problem and reach out to whatever lawyer was working with you from the PD's office. They can get in touch with me. I'll get in touch with Ms. Crawford and we'll fix it. You are remembering correctly that you don't owe anything to probation other than the restitution from before March of 2021.
Okay,
All right.
gotcha.
What do we do about I guess, is Officer Priest, Ms. Crawford, is he someone who can do DeKalb and Fulton? Is he a DeKalb person, or what's the answer about this confusion about what county Mr. Grover's in?
So I have Terrell Priest as his probation officer. What county do you live? Have you recently moved to DeKalb, or were you already, because it looks like you've been going to Fulton County, and so that's how you're in contact with Officer Priest. So what is it about the DeKalb that, do you want it transferred to DeKalb?
No, ma'am, but that's the address where I'm living at though. The address that.
But tell Ms. Crawford how it came up, because you were telling me you were talking with someone and they said, hey, wait a minute, you live in DeKalb. You need to, what happened?
When Officer Priest had called me, he was like, he ain't gonna be my probation officer no more. He was gonna have to send me to DeKalb County because the address that's on file is DeKalb County. It's not Fulton County. So when I went to DeKalb County probation officer, they told me that the 1321 address is in Fulton County.
Okay, I'll call Officer Priest, because if you live in Fulton County, you'll be reporting to Fulton County. And I'll talk to him and I'll send an email to Judge McBurney, but I'm going to log off and speak to Officer Priest for a moment. And if we move down in the calendar, could you have a seat and I'll come back to you after I speak with Officer Priest?
That'd be great. The U.S. Postal Service lists that address as being in DeKalb County. So my guess is it's in DeKalb County, but we'll see what Officer Priest said. It shouldn't matter to you. I mean, you need a probation officer.
Right.
And you shouldn't have to go to the office much other than when you're going to hand the money in. And so it may be that you go to the one in DeKalb if, in fact, this address on Memorial Drive is in DeKalb. Officer Priest doesn't have any control over it.
So he said that DeKalb County even came to my sister's house and left a note, but they ain't even come and leave no note at my sister's house.
Well, maybe they did and it got lost, but we can fix that. You just need to, we'll get you the contact information for DeKalb. Ms. Crawford's going to look into it, and we'll go from there. I would like to have one more check-in with you a few months down the road.
Let's do it.
Because I know you've been working hard at this, but haven't had a test yet, haven't started working yet. So it's important to me that we connect maybe in the middle of the summer.
Let's do it.
So good, let's do it. Even though you live in DeKalb, I want you to come to my courtroom. Ms. Nelson, is there a day that we can give to Mr. Grover and we'll send you something in the mail too.
I got a question. I wonder how this letter right here that I just got from you go to 1477 Accurate Street. That's my baby mama address.
That's in the system also. Then it's listed as the correspondence address for the case. Would you like the mail sent to the Memorial Drive address?
Exactly.
Okay. So you keep pointing in the back of the courtroom. Is that your sister?
Yeah.
Or is that the mother of your child?
No, that's my sister.
That's what I thought. Okay. She better not also be the mother of your child.
No.
All right. Good. Because I remember your sister. I was like, why you keep pointing at her when you talk about baby mama's house? All right. So we can fix that part. Both addresses are in there, and there's a little pin next to the acreage. That's where the court mail is going, and it shouldn't. It should go to Memorial Drive.
Right.
All right. And you're not planning on moving anytime soon? Sister says no.
Southeast on there?
It is. It's 1321 Memorial Drive Southeast. All right. And Mr. Grover, you're going to rejoin us on July 6th. at 9:30, but you'll get something in the mail. But just let you know, July 6th will be right after Independence Day. And I want to hear about all the good money you've been making. By then, we've sorted out DeKalb or Fulton. Tell me your new probation officer's name because it's going to be DeKalb.
Probation be paid up.
Probation will be paid up.
Believe it.
You have passed math, and we'll figure out what the next topic is.
Believe it.
And I'll give you, by then, I can give you the high five, and you'll be on your way. Everything else going all right?
Yes, sir.
How your kid?
Good.
Yeah? How often you spending time with them?
She just came to see me yesterday.
Okay, that's good.
And my little boy, my little boy stay with me, so I see him every day.
You see him every day?
Yeah.
And he's healthy?
Healthy.
Good. What's he doing for the summer?
Whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants. Well, now Dad's rolling in the change, so you take him to good places. Mr. Grover, it's good seeing you. You seem like you are keeping things screwed on in the right way. Probably because your sister is taking care of things too. But I'll see you on July 6th. You should stay here because Ms. Crawford. Oh.
Yes, I'm sorry. Judge McBurney, Officer Priest is gonna log on real quick. So just I don't know what direction, if you want to have Judge, not Judge, but have him go next, but he's gonna log on. I just sent him the link and he's gonna log on. He wants to speak to you as well as Mr. Grover.
Great. So you can take a seat. I'll look for him to log on. Once he logs on, we'll get you back up here, okay? We're going to take one thing out of order because we have our interpreter here. Is that Mr. Mann?
Yes.
So you're here for Mr. Gomez Ignacio. Is he here?
He's in the courtroom.
Great. So why don't we have you and your client come up to the podium?
Thank you, Judge.
We'll get all this on the record.
Your Honor, I don't have a copy of the indictment that was returned. Is it possible to look at the one in the court file just to see it?
Yes and no. I will print one out for you. There is no court file anymore.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and Mr. Mann, you need to either get on e-file or stop by the third floor of the district attorney's office for the discovery to be picked up because discovery's already been filed.
Oh, okay.
Copy of the indictment. It was filed back on May 7th.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mann, you have not signed up for e-filing in connection with this case?
Your Honor, I'm 68 and my paralegal does all that stuff.
Okay.
And I'm sure she has, but just for purposes of waiving the reading of the indictment, I just wanted to look at it.
Not a problem. No, I just want to, Ms. McCauley's point, you want to make sure that your paralegal gets you in the mix.
And I will stop off at the third floor on the way after I leave.
Whether you're 21 or 201, you'll want to be getting these notices.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me print this.
Thank you, Judge.
Sure. Sure.
Ms. McCauley, while the judge is printing the copy of the indictment, is there a best number for communicating with you that I could get?
Yes, I believe actually your office has it because you were able to file your motion to dismiss on me back in April. So you should have all my contact information, but I'll go ahead and give it to you again.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, it's 404 612
Yes.
4997.
Okay.
My cell phone is 404
Right.
423
Right.
6959.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah,
appreciate
and
it.
this case is actually being handled by Siri Patel. She's out on leave until July, so feel free to communicate with me until then, and I'll let you know when she's back.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
May I approach?
Please. You bet. All right, Ms. Rivers, are you ready? All right, we're gonna go on the record in 21 SC 177798. I will first swear in our interpreter. Mr. Juarez, do you swear or affirm that you will translate and interpret to the best of your skill and ability?
I do, Judge, to the best of my ability.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Your Honor, Frederick Mann for the defense. We have received a copy of the single count indictment and also the witness list consisting of 3 witnesses. It does not mention the child victim, but
Indictment.
She's, of course, named in the indictment, but that's an initial witness list. I suspect you'll learn more about the case as you engage in more robust exchange of discovery.
right. We'll waive reading at this time, enter a plea of not guilty, request trial by jury, and invoke reciprocal discovery. And we will be filing a notice of appearance and preliminary demand for discovery under the new case number.
Great.
If I was going to ask for anything, I'd just ask if I could have 10 days from the discovery that's been provided today. I'll pick that up to file preliminary motions.
So here's how it works in this division. Now that we have taken care of Mr. Gomez Ignacio's arraignment, a scheduling order will be entered. It'll have a deadline for discovery, which is a ways off. Beyond that will be a deadline for any motions to be filed. If motions are filed, we'll make sure we get those calendared. If none are filed, the next thing you'll get will be a trial date.
Okay.
And that'll be how we move it forward. We're not doing a whole lot with trying cases with defendants who are on bond right now. We are trying criminal cases, but our focus currently is folks who are not on bond.
Right.
We hope to change that soon because we've got a lot of old bond cases.
I'm sure
This is not an old bond case, so
right.
it'll be a little while for Mr. Gomez Ignacio. But once you file your paperwork you described, you'll see a scheduling order entered. It'll be e-filed, so that'll be how you get it. And then anytime you've got a question about anything, you can just reach out to Ms. Nelson. That is my litigation manager. You can find her contact information on the website for the court, but Deedra Nelson is the contact. Her name and information will be in the scheduling order that goes out.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Judge. That's all I had, and may I be excused?
Ms. Nelson, do we need Mr. Mann to complete a waiver of arraignment form?
Let me look at the record, Judge.
I'm looking at, there isn't one. I mean, Mr. Mann wouldn't have known to do that. So I'm just wondering, to create the complete file that we normally do, should I have him fill that out while he's here?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And I can file that tomorrow.
Great. So, Mr. Mann, there is a waiver of arraignment form. Deputy Gordon is looking over the forms. One of those is waiver of arraignment. If you fill that out, you can leave it with me. We'll get it e-filed.
Okay.
But that'll memorialize what we did today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Does it say waiver of arraignment? What does it say at the top? Got it? Perfect. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wise. Ms. McCauley, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Oh, no, I've said enough. Thanks, Judge.
Okay, enough from you today.
Judge, also Officer Priest has logged on and joined us.
Yes, I saw that. So we're going to handle that. And then I've been asked that we take the plea, if it's going to be a plea for deputy allocation purposes. So let me sign a couple pieces of paper and then we'll get Officer Priest. Oh, okay. We didn't request, I guess we didn't know. Okay. Got it. Do I?
Yeah, you can sign.
In this right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for record keeping purposes.
That's smart.
Yeah, I mean. that's-
So we can document, hey, people are missing the boat here.
Yeah. We try to see almost all the cases that we want to just like it.
Yeah.
Also with the budget.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Come on back up, Mr. Grover. Officer Priest, are you out there? Yikes. Officer Priest, can you hear us? He is on mute.
I can.
There we go. There he is. Hey, how are you doing, sir?
Doing well, sir, and yourself?
I'm well. I appreciate you calling in on short notice. We're just trying to clear up the situation for Mr. Grover. He came in today as scheduled so I could get an update on what's going on in his life. And he shared with me that he's a little confused about where he's going to be supervised. He lives in one of those addresses that's City of Atlanta, but County of DeKalb. And so my thought was that means he needs to be supervised out of DeKalb, but I don't pretend to be DCS. So I reached out to Ms. Crawford and she reached out to you.
Okay, no problem. Can I add? Can I?
Please, you're up now. We've got, so you know, Mr. Grover is standing right here.
Okay, gotcha. What's happening is that Mr. Grover was instructed twice to actually report to DeKalb. He failed to do so. The first time he just, of course, when he didn't report, the officer still went out to the particular last known address that's actually listed in Portal. She went there. She stated she left the letter. I spoke to her myself. She stated that the gentleman never gave her, Mr. Grover never gave her a call back. The second time we spoke this week. Now, let me rewind. Let me backtrack. I'll go back a little bit. The first time when he didn't report and the officer from the cab shared this with me, I reached out to him. I could not make contact with him. I was about to do a warrant. He gives me a call. I said, hey, listen, you were supposed to follow the instruction and report to the cab, or I'm going to have to do a warrant. I said, hey, go out there today and do it. He says, I'm going right now. I text him the information and everything. He turns around and he texts me that I'll just go tomorrow. I thought to myself, no, sir. So I began a warrant already.
That was Tuesday.
He was given 2 chances. He was supposed to go that day. He failed to do it on this Tuesday, and he failed to do it before when I told him to go down there and report.
Okay, so not doing a good job on that front. If we get him that information today, can he show up, or do you need to clear the way for him to show up? Could he be a walk-in, whatever we call it, this week, or does it need to be something you arranged?
I would have to be something I arranged, but respectfully, Your Honor, he's been given 2 chances already.
Okay, well, I got him right here, and I'm prepared to tell him what he needs to do. And I hear you. I heard from him before you plugged in that they didn't get he didn't get a written notice that someone supposedly dropped off, but I bet he's not going to deny that he talked to you on the phone with you right here.
Exactly.
So
I did talk to him.
Okay.
I did go down there Tuesday, which I just told you that DeKalb County instructed me that they had no transfers from Fulton County and that their address is a Fulton County address.
Okay, good. Thank you. And so I wanted to give Mr. Grover a chance to respond. Mr. Grover told me that he went to DeKalb probation on Tuesday, which would be 2 days ago.
Yes, sir.
And when he got there, they looked at his address and said, that's a Fulton County address. We don't have any transfers from Fulton on your case. So what I want to avoid is you, Officer Priest, getting stuck in some circle. I don't want Mr. Grover stuck in a circle. And I bumped into it before where someone lives in Riverdale. Like, hey man, is that Clayton or is that Fulton? Or they live up near Vinings. Is that Cobb or is that Fulton? The address is in DeKalb County. And so my understanding of DCS is that Mr. Grover needs to be supervised out of DeKalb. So the young man went there on Tuesday, and this has happened on the Fulton end of things where people are coming to us. Whoever mans that front desk didn't know he was coming, however that works, and they looked at his address and they told him, you're not even in the right place. That was a mistaken response, but I'm willing to give both Mr. Grover and the good folks in the DeKalb DCS office another chance to get it right. I just want to make sure that when Mr. Grover gets back to DeKalb DCS, there are folks there waiting for him with open arms. And don't bounce him out because he's got one of these funky addresses that, depending on how you slice it, people will say, oh, that's Fulton County, Memorial Drive, Atlanta, that's Fulton, it's not DeKalb.
I got you. The thing is, I told him specifically that day, I gave him the instruction. When you get down there, give me a call, please, sir, so we can avoid situations like this.
Got it. So you could have helped clear it up.
You're going to get the last word, so.
Okay, so you could have helped clear it up if he had reached out to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what direction should I give Mr. Grover so that when he goes back to DeKalb DCS, he actually gets through that front door, gets processed, and gets assigned a new officer?
I would have to put the transfer back in, but I'll be in contact with him going forward to make sure he does it. If he doesn't, I'll just continue on with the warrant. It'll be that simple, Your Honor.
No, I think that's appropriate. So if it doesn't work out, and now Mr. Grover knows if he gets to DeKalb DCS and there's pushback and static, he needs to be hitting you up right away.
Correct.
And he's got your cell phone number.
He does.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, he's nodding. All right, I just want to make sure everyone is saying the same thing. So I appreciate Officer Priest. You'll do this again. I know that's not what you get paid to do, is to repeat things, but you will do another transfer. You will let Mr. Grover know when he needs to make it down there. If for some reason your second effort at transfer paperwork still doesn't get traction in DeKalb, and Mr. Grover gets there and they're confused why he's there, his very clear instructions are call Officer Priest. And then you will work through whatever needs to be worked through so that Mr. Grover is effectively transferred to DeKalb.
Correct.
Amen. I appreciate the work you do, Officer Priest. Thank you for dialing in on short notice.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Let's try it.
Okay. All right. Well,
We've all heard, but you know what? This is important because we've all heard the same thing now. It was real helpful to hear from Officer Priest what he's frustrated about. It was helpful to hear from you what you were frustrated about. You go there and they're like, Willie Grover, get out of here. But now you know what to do. If that happens again, you hit Officer Priest and he will fix it. Officer Priest, you still there or did you go? He left. That's okay. Ballpark, Ms. Crawford, what would you estimate it takes to get transfer paperwork pushed back through?
He should have it sometime next week. Today's Thursday, probably Thursday of next week.
Okay. More importantly, he'll let you know. Okay. Be safe.
Okay.
We'll see you when?
July the 6th.
Yep, July 6th, but you'll get something in the mail, and I made a note. We'll fix it so that your mail goes to your sister's house and not to the mother of your children's house.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am, for getting him where he needs to be.
Is that sweet?
Is he gonna get himself a car with all this new money he's earning? I guess, hey, license first, okay, Mr. Grover? All right. See ya. All right, we are going to turn to Mr. Nandanki's matter, if we may. Thank you. It's got good handwriting. Ms. McCauley, do you have other cases on the calendar?
I do,
Okay, well, thanks for staying with us.
always.
Ms. Hall, while we're waiting for Mr. Nandanki, did I not sign an order no processing Ms. Wen's case, position 7?
You should have.
Okay, let me look that up because I see Mr. Bixon on the call.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Go.
Yes, Judge, you sign that.
Okay, I just need to make sure it got filed and then we can get him out of here. Yep. Mr. Bixon, thank you for dialing in. We did put this on the calendar to see what was going on. It sounds like Ms. Wen completed everything she needed to for PTI. And on May 14th, my order, as authorized by the state, dismissing the case, was entered. So if that's your only matter on the calendar, you're free to go, and please let Ms. Wen know the charges have been dismissed.
I certainly will. Thank you, Judge.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Ms. Rivers, you ready? We're going to handle our item from our plea calendar. It's 20 SC 177093. We have Mr. Parrish for the state, Mr. Franklin for Ndanki. How do you say it?
Yes, Your Honor, you said it right.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Ndanki, you are here, as I understand it, to enter a plea in your case. Mr. Franklin, is it negotiated or non-negotiated?
Negotiated.
Okay, a negotiated plea. In a moment, Mr. Parrish is going to put you under oath. Once you're under oath, it's important that you answer all of his questions and mine. We'll both have questions for you, truthfully and completely. If you have any questions of your own, we're here to answer them. Start with Mr. Franklin. Let him know, hey, I don't understand what's happening right now. But if I need to get involved, I will. If I disagree with the recommended disposition, Mr. Franklin's going to tell me, hey, Judge, I think you should sentence Mr. Ndanki to X. Sounds like Mr. Parrish is going to agree with that. That doesn't bind me. If I sentence you to anything more than what your lawyer asked for, you have the absolute right to say, no, thank you. That is not what I agreed to. If I sentence you to something less, you're stuck with it. And obviously, if I give you what you asked for, that's what you get. Does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Mr. Parrish, when you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Go ahead, raise your right hand for me. You swear or affirm the testimony you shall give the court the matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Help me, God. Help me, God.
You go ahead and set your hand now. Make sure you speak up nice and loud for the court before, okay?
All right.
You go ahead and state your name.
My name is Ishami Ndanki.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 32, going to 33. 01/01/89.
You were born on New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you known by any other names?
No, sir.
Are you at this time under the influence of any drugs, medicine, or alcohol?
No, sir.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
How far did you go in school?
On some college.
I see you can read and write the English language.
Yeah.
Have you read and examined the charging document in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that the offenses that you're charged with today?
Yes.
Just the one count, aggravated assault.
Yes, aggravated assault.
Did you go over that charging document with your attorney?
Yes.
You understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges. If
Yeah.
you plead not guilty or you choose to remain silent, you would receive a jury trial.
Yes, sir.
Have you had enough time to speak to your lawyer about all the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charges in this accusation or
Yes.
indictment, including any potential defenses?
Yes, sir.
You need any more time to discuss this case with your attorney?
No, sir.
Are you satisfied with his services?
Yes, sir.
Do you waive a formal reading of the indictment?
So wait.
Do you waive any and all defects in the indictment, including any with respect to the name of the defendant?
Yes, for purposes of this plea only.
Mr. Ndanki, have you been arrested on these charges?
Yes.
Has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentences for each charge that you're pleading to? Again, just for one charge.
Yes, sir.
You understand that if you plead guilty to this, you are pleading guilty to a serious felony.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that this is a negotiated plea, which means that the state is going to recommend a sentence? The court does not have to accept that recommendation. The court can sentence you to the maximum on each charge and could run those sentences consecutively, one after another. Again, we only have one charge.
Yes, sir.
You understand that this plea may be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction, as well as in other jurisdictions, including federal courts.
Yes, sir.
Are you currently on probation or parole?
No, sir.
You understand that if you are placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws by any governmental unit
Yes, sir.
or any of the special conditions of probation without being subject to revocation for the balance of your sentence.
Yes, sir.
You understand that you're not allowed to possess a firearm while on probation?
Yes, sir.
You understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, a guilty plea conviction will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation.
Yes,
just
sir.
like the conviction at trial would, and that this is true regardless of any advice by your attorney or anyone else.
Yes, sir.
You understand that neither the court, your attorney, nor the district attorney's office has anything to do with parole. The Department of Corrections or Board of Paroles and Pardons, no one can guarantee parole no matter what anyone else has told you.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that there may be other adverse or unfavorable consequences as a result of this plea? Just as there would be from a conviction following trial. For example, your guilty plea may affect the right to vote, the right to hold public office, the right to serve on a jury, the right to obtain a passport, the right to receive, possess, or transport a firearm, or the ability to obtain employment.
Yes, sir.
You understand that you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses, by entering a plea of guilty.
Yes, sir.
You also understand that if you went to trial, you would have the right to trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and confront the witnesses called to testify against you, and the right to testify or to remain silent and not incriminate yourself.
Yes.
Giving up that right.
Yes, sir.
You also understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to assistance of counsel hired by you, or to court-appointed counsel if you cannot afford an attorney, the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to testify yourself on your own behalf and to present other evidence, the right to subpoena witnesses and compel production of evidence, the right to have the charges against you proved beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges at trial. I understand you're giving up those rights.
Yes, sir.
Has anyone used any force, threats, or promises to get you to enter a plea of guilty today?
No, sir.
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a plea of guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the charge of aggravated stalking in case number 20 SC 177093?
Yes, sir.
Have you please, as do you plead guilty?
Guilty. I plead guilty.
Is this plea given freely and voluntarily with full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that you have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you only have 4 years from today for a felony charge to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this plea?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Judge, the defendant's criminal history, this is the only case that appears on his GCIC. He's got no prior convictions or arrests from what the GCIC has shown.
Okay.
The recommendation on this case, Judge, is going to be 3 years. The first year to be served in confinement. He is to receive credit for time served. He is to have no contact with the named victim in the case. And I'm going to spell her name.
Is it down, sir?
It is
Are they gonna
EYITOLAYO.
give me down, sir?
Last name is ODELEYE. Not as good as pronunciation as you are, Judge. I'm gonna try. Facts of the case would show that on March 31st of 2020, the defendant went back to a place where he had prior occupied. He went in through the window in violation of protective order against the defendant, against the victim in the case. He violated that. Officers found him there, and he was arrested and charged as such. I believe that's all, Judge.
Thank you. What was the relationship between Ms. Odeleye
Yeah.
and Mr. Ndanki? Was it a romantic relationship? They were roommates? What is your understanding? I'll hear from Mr. Franklin in a minute.
I spoke to her yesterday, Judge,
Mhm.
in preparation for the plea. She is on board with the plea. She did not want to be present. She did not want any statements read. I asked her about the nature of their relationship, and she didn't really give me a solid answer.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a personal relationship or more of a rental relationship. she didn't really give me a strong detail on it.
But whatever it was, it had reached a point where she had obtained a protective order that required Mr. Ndanki to stay away from her and that address.
That is correct.
Okay, and he was found at that address. That gets you to aggravated stalking.
Correct, Judge. And I believe I misstated the date. I think it's actually May 31st, 2020. I think I said March.
Okay, the indictment says March 31st, but either way. Ms. Odeleye didn't say she was harmed by it, or that since this time, Mr. Ndanki has made any effort to contact her.
I asked those two specific questions, Judge. She said that at that time he was not violent. She did not, again, she didn't want to be heard on the matter. She is, her words were that she has kind of put it in the past.
Okay.
She's ready to move on from it. And I think that's basically the gist of what her opinion is, Judge. She thinks that the sentence is fair. She knows that he's done a significant portion of time.
Yep.
And she said that the primary concern for her and for the state is her safety moving forward. I instructed her what to do if contact is made. So she's aware of the proper protocol in regards to that. And that was really the primary thing, is that there's a little bit of time for us to keep an eye on him before they sort of make sure that they're separate ways.
Got it. And why 2 years probation, not more?
Judge, through the negotiation, I spoke to her. She's fine with the 3 years. We had a lengthy conversation about what the confinement time should be and about what the probation time should be. She seemed fine with either. I told her originally that it may go to a non-negotiated plea. At that point, we weren't sure. I said the judge may give him just credit for time served and he can go on his way, and she seemed fine with that. The alternative was the judge could give him 5 years, and she was fine with that. So after that, she gave me basically the authority on her behalf to agree to whatever sentence you thought was fair and what I thought was fair. I spoke to the defense attorney. He recommended 3 years on my initial offer of 5, and I think that's fair.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Mr. Franklin.
Thank you, Your Honor. First things first, I'd like to let the court know that we would like to tender this plea as a first offender plea. As Mr. Parrish informed the court, this is Mr. Ndanki's first interaction with the justice system, period. He has no record. You want to have some clarification about the relationship between the parties. We've had so many DAs who kind of had their hand on this case. I don't recall which one, but I know that the complaining witness was spoken to before, and her information jived with what I received from Mr. Ndanki. They were simply roommates.
Okay.
They both were renting from this location, which I understand to essentially be a rooming house. And
that was my recollection. I think it was Ms. Sims. There have been many ADAs, but when we had that first bond hearing, I recall whoever the ADA was saying, I've spoken with the victim. It was definitely platonic, but whatever happened, it reached the point where Ms. Odeleye said, don't need to be here anymore.
Correct.
Okay.
And I also believe that she has moved from the address where they once resided together, and they had no other dealings with one another. So the likelihood of contact is essentially nil, I believe. There was a concern about where he could get his stuff. Like, he's going to need his stuff when he gets out. And we determined that the third party that they were both renting from took his items into custody.
So we believe they're preserved somewhere.
At some point in time, they took them, whether they've kept them this entire year or not.
Okay.
He'll find out once he gets out.
Yeah.
So we at least know that she doesn't have them, so there's not a reason that he would attempt to contact her to try to get his stuff.
Great.
Right.
That's good to know.
So again, that's a thing that we think is supportive of this plea. We would add that at the point in time that he returned to the location, it was largely because he had no other place to go. We're pleading to the case, but I know that one of the bigger elements of aggravated stalking is the intent to harass and terrorize. And just the nature of going away and coming back and, I guess, behaving somewhat erratically, that certainly is a basis for a jury to support that finding.
Climbing in through a window. I could see that.
But we don't think it's, having done this work for some time, I think we kind of have one idea of what harassing and terrorizing may be. And this certainly isn't on the higher end of that spectrum, which again further supports the fact that we have reached this negotiation. I've had several cases where we've reached a probated agreement on similar type situations. And we are at a point where Mr. Ndanky has been in about a year. My understanding is that his arrest date was May 31st. He has been in custody continuously since that point in time. So we would expect that he get that credit date of May 31st and be released in just short of 2 weeks.
Yep.
At this point in time.
If not before.
If not
May,
before.
may well be the sheriff says, what the heck, you've done so close to a year. I need the bed.
Yeah. And he wanted me to clarify the credit date and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the release date.
The release date. So his release date wouldn't be anything later than May 31st.
Or June 1, I mean, depending on how the math works, but that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
But that is essentially it. We just a bunch of circumstances more so than overtly intentional harassment that we sometimes see with lovers who are no longer lovers or
Sure.
parties who have actual issues with one another.
Or someone has a fixation and there's a mental health issue and really a reason to be concerned because it's just someone's going to be returning to that scenario again and again. It sounds like Ms. Odeleye has moved on in a variety of ways, emotionally, but also geographically perhaps, which is great. Okay. Mr. Ndanky, a couple questions from me. I'm pretty sure Mr. Parrish covered it, but I was also messing with your indictment on the screen here. Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
First offender is primarily an opportunity for someone who has not. Ms. Crawford, I'm sorry to jump to you suddenly. Do you agree that Mr. Ndanky qualifies for first offender treatment?
That's correct, Judge. He doesn't have a history with us.
Okay, thank you. It's primarily an opportunity. Someone who has no adult felony criminal history, first time through the system for something like this. If your first crime was murder or rape or something like that, you can't get first offender for that. I was checking about ag stalking, which you can get first offender. You'll be on probation for a couple of years, but you will not have a conviction. So I don't know what you plan to do when you get out, if you're going to work, go to school, do something, but there are a lot of things you may choose to do in your life where you have to fill out an application, and right after name and social security number, they say, have you ever been convicted of a felony? And the correct answer is no.
No.
You have not, because even though you're pleading guilty, you're being sentenced as a first offender. And as long as you are under a first offender sentence, it is not a conviction. If you successfully complete that sentence, it is forever not a conviction. That's the good part, and that'll help you going forward. The risk, and for you, hopefully it's a very small risk, is that if while you are on probation for those couple of years, you do something stupid and you get arrested again, not only do you have these new charges, but you'll come back in front of me and I may well be asked by the prosecutor, and I might agree to not just revoke your probation, but to resentence you as a convicted felon. And I have the whole range to use. So even though your sentence here was 3 to do 1, ag stalking, I think, is 10 years. And so if what you did, hopefully you don't do anything, but if what you did in those 2 years of probation is, I'm making it up. Let's say you stab someone. Not only do you have that new case, but I could say, gosh darn, we misread you. You're actually a scary guy. I'm going to resentence you to 10 years to serve on this case. You already pled guilty. You don't get to come back and say, wait a minute, it wasn't aggravated stalking. So that's the risk. If you are pretty comfortable that you're going to be squared away, it's a small risk. But you know that better than anyone else in this room. Do you think you understand the benefit of first offender?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Do you think you understand the risk of first offender?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Understanding those two things, do you want to be sentenced as a first offender?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I will do that. I think that's appropriate given my limited understanding of the facts of this case. Tell me where you plan to go when you get out.
I plan to go to a friend's house.
Does this friend know you're coming?
He doesn't, but he's a longtime friend of mine.
Okay.
And
you have reason to believe he'll let you stay there at least temporarily?
Yes, temporarily.
What kind of work are you going to be able to do?
I'm going to be a valet.
A valet?
Valet.
Okay. At a particular place, or you just know you're a good valet?
At a location at downtown Hyatt.
Okay. And you think they'll take you back after being gone for a year?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you know this or you hope this?
I know they'll take me back.
Okay. And why is that?
Because I'm a good worker.
Okay. I don't doubt you're a good worker. I hope they take you back. The good news is everyone is looking for good workers right now, so you will find something. Do you have family in the Atlanta area?
No, sir.
So you're hoping the friends are there for you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Well, Mr. Ndanki, I find there's a factual basis for your plea. I appreciate what Mr. Franklin was telling me. There are aggravated stalkings that we're real scared about because they can result, if not dealt with someone getting hurt, if not killed. And then there are aggravated stalkings where people butted heads figuratively. Someone took out a protective order and then someone forgot about the protective order. And it sounds like your case falls at that end. It's still a crime and you've clearly paid a price for it. I also find that your plea is knowing and voluntary. Voluntary means that no one's forcing you to enter this plea. You may not be excited about it, but you've decided after consulting with Mr. Franklin that it's in your best interest to go forward with the plea. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and a knowing plea is just one where the defendant goes in with eyes wide open. He understands what we've been talking about, doesn't have any questions. Does that describe you?
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
You have no questions.
I mean, I do have a question.
What's your question?
When will be my release date?
So I thought we covered that. Let me tell you what your sentence is, then I'll tell you what I guess your release date will be. And I can tell you what it won't be later than, but it could be sooner than that.
Okay.
Any questions about any of the rights that Mr. Parrish covered with you or anything like that?
Everything has been pretty clear.
Okay, good. I'm going to sentence you, Mr. Ndanki, pursuant to the Probation Options Management Act. And all that means is that while you're on probation, which you will be for 2 years, if you have a minor violation, and I hope you have no violation, but let's say you miss a meeting with a probation officer or something like that, you and probation sort that out. You don't have to come back in front of me. I will only see you again if I'm trying to park my car at the Hyatt, and you're there to park it, or you get arrested. If you get arrested on new charges, that's the kind of thing that will come back in front of me. That would be a serious violation of your probation. I will sentence you as a first offender, and I will follow the joint recommendation. So I'm sentencing you to 3 years to serve 1 year. You will get credit for every day you've been in. So if it was May 31st, you have earned almost 1 year credit. The latest you'd be let out would be, I believe, May 31st of this year. Maybe June 1, maybe May 30. You could be released sooner. The sheriff has the authority when someone has completed so much of his sentence to release him a little bit early. Don't go asking about that. They make that decision. And I'm not telling them they need to do that. What I am telling you is that if it's June 1 and you wake up wearing those clothes, you need to call Mr. Franklin. He'll reach out to my team and we'll figure out what's going on, because a year is a year and you'll get out. But I don't think it'll run into that. I think you'll be out before that. So the latest would be, as Mr. Franklin's saying, is a couple weeks. It's still a while. It's not today, but that's the sentence I'm imposing. You'll be on probation for 2 years. The special condition of your probation is that you have no contact whatsoever with the victim in this case. You don't call her, you don't write her. If you can find her on Facebook, you don't post anything. And if you have shared friends, you don't use them to get word to her of either I'm sorry or, hey, do you have that pair of socks that I can't find? Nothing. If you feel like she might have some of your property, the guy who can help you with that is the guy standing next to you, because he'll work with the prosecutor to say, hey, Ms. Odelay, do you have the TV that really was Mr. Ndanki's TV? Do not engage in self-help. Don't climb through any windows to try to get your stuff back. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Last thing I've got, well, did I answer your question about when would you get out?
Yeah.
Answer is sometime in the next 2 weeks.
Next 2 weeks.
All right. Mr. Franklin, anything else for Mr. Ndanki?
Oh, sorry. Perhaps if we could waive his fees for like the first 3 months, since he's going to a uncertain living situation.
Sure. So, Mr. Ndanki, while you're on probation, you'll be paying a supervision fee. It helps defray the cost of probation supervision. I appreciate your optimism that you're going to be getting back to work right away. It's just going to take a minute before you can start working. You're going to be borrowing a bed from a friend, and so you may be needing to help take care of some other people up front. So I will waive your probation supervision fees for the first 3 months. So June, July, August, and they're not big numbers. It's not like it's $1,000, but whatever that number is, you won't need to worry about it until September. Okay, Mr. Parrish, anything else for Mr. Ndanky?
Judge, one question. This is my first plea with you. Do you need me to provide a signed copy of the indictment to Ms. Nelson?
It's a great question. I was about to get to that. So anything other than that?
No.
Okay. Mr. Ndanky, in the good old days, we passed around an indictment, everyone signed it. We try not to pass documents around anymore. Do you authorize me to sign your name on the indictment saying, yes, I pled guilty, first offender?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Franklin
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Parrish?
Absolutely.
I will take care of that. I'll get that to Ms. Nelson. Last thing I've got, Ms. Crawford, do you need any information from Mr. Ndanky?
Yes, Judge. I know he said that he didn't know the address, but I'm gonna need the address and the contact number and person's name for him, as well as give him his reporting date.
He doesn't need me.
Okay, let's see what we've got.
You don't need to go back to the address.
Yeah, and my stuff.
Remember the company I told you, what's it called? What pad? Pad splits.
Yeah, passport.
Get in touch with pad splits. I'm sorry, Mr. Ndanky was asking me a question. Could you say that again, Ms. Crawford?
No problem. We're trying to figure out any information about where Mr. Ndanky will be when he gets out. A phone number, a name of a person, an address.
I know it was off of Campbellton Road.
Yeah. 2328.
2328 Campbellton Road, apartment U as in Ulysses 2. The friend's name is Mokhtar, Moctar.
Okay, we've got an address. That's a great start. I can go to my handy dandy zip code thing since it's up right now. What was the address?
2328 Campbellton Road.
U2.
Yes, sir. I guess the band was an easier reference than.
Yeah, it's all right. You made it hard. Ulysses. It's going to be 30311. There's a lot of apartments there. The Apple Tree Apartments.
Yeah, it's right next to it.
All right. You're going to get some reporting instructions. Mr. Franklin's going to write them down for you. But other than getting out and kissing the ground and finding your friend, your important date is going to be showing up at the probation office to say, here I am, so you can meet your probation officer, okay?
Yeah.
You have that, Ms. Crawford?
Yes, Judge. So your report instructions will be Thursday, June the 3rd at 10 a.m. You report to the Fulton County office, that's 276 Memorial Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, Southwest, 30303. And I can give you my telephone number if you have any questions, 470-303-6860.
Any questions about that, Mr. Ndanky?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so you'll get a piece of paper from Mr. Franklin that will have that information. Make sure you don't miss that appointment, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Oh, what time of day was that, Ms. Crawford?
It'll be 10 a.m.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thursday, June 3rd.
So report to this location?
Do you know what the city jail is?
No, I have no idea.
If you get to Memorial, you get to
Memorial Drive?
yeah. So it's like right under some train track.
Okay.
So if you know what Magic City is?
Magic City, yeah.
It's right down the street from Magic City.
Okay.
That street, that Forsyth Street where it is.
Yeah.
You keep going down on the curve. Right when it's like an intersection. It's kind of weird. The
Yeah.
jail is off to your left.
Yeah.
Probation is right there off to the right. It's
Okay,
got a short building with some.
So report there on June 3rd?
June 3rd at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So have blessings. Take care of yourself.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Judge. That's my only case of the calendar.
You may. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. If we get back to our regularly scheduled calendar, next up is Tina Hamilton. And that was Ms. Rockwell's case, and she's sort of been on and off this call. Who's handling that? Is that your case, Ms. Hall?
Yes, sir.
What were we doing? It says check on the status of the case. This is an old case. What kind of status update were we getting? Or do you want to wait for Ms. Rockwell to get back on?
I can tell you, I'm sure she's gonna come back. She's essentially gonna try to get, the defendant into some type of accountability report. So I think the status is pretty much how we're gonna resolve the case. We've been working on that, but
Would it be a guilty plea into accountability court, or is it a diversion into accountability court?
for us right now, it'll be a guilty plea to diversion.
Okay, and just remind me why this is a 6-year-old case. Did Ms. Hamilton disappear for a while? Or,
I don't know if we got that information last time we were in court.
okay,
I'm not sure.
okay. So we should wait for Ms. Rockwell to come back.
I'll reach out to her and tell her.
Okay, great. We'll come back to that. Number 3 is John Connor. And I think that comes from you, Mr. Franklin. I'm remembering this gentleman who's got a very similar matter in Douglas County.
Yes, sir. Yes, I spoke with Mr. Connor yesterday, and Ms. McCauley has made contact, I believe, with some persons from the DA's office in Douglas County. And we both got the same information. Mr. Connor should be going to trial in Douglas. Ms. McCauley says it's June 7th, I believe.
It's June 7th, correct?
And these are similar charges. It's obviously not the same case. Is it same victims?
It is
Yes.
the same set of victims, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so just purportedly some things happen in Douglas and then similar things happen in Fulton. Correct. Okay.
I am communicating with that Douglas ADA to see if there is a global offer that we can make. However, I think Mr. Franklin and the ADA and Douglas share the same sentiment that this case will likely just proceed to trial.
Meaning the Douglas one, or there will be 2 trials?
The Douglas case is going to go to trial. I've discussed with Mr. Franklin kind of what the state's position is if, given the various outcomes that are potential outcomes in Douglas County, how we would proceed.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. I can see how that would be very determinative if we're not wanting to put the alleged victims through this twice. Okay, so maybe if we put this on an inquiry calendar in late July or early August, doesn't that, I mean, that would give Douglas County a chance to take care of its trial. Is that too soon or is that too far out?
No, it's fine. We're just checking in to see what happened.
Yeah. That's all it would be, is
that's all we
because if there were, presumably the trial goes forward, hopefully the trial goes forward, and there's an outcome. And that should be known by mid-July. And by then, that piece of information can start, I don't know, when does Ms. Patel come back?
She comes back in middle of July, so after summer conference.
Okay. So, probably all the more reason to maybe put this on an early August calendar so that Ms. Patel can come back. She can digest the results of the Douglas County trial if it's happened. And then she and Mr. Franklin can talk about what that means for moving forward with these charges, plea, trial, whatever it would be. Okay. Mr. Franklin, if we need to deal with Mr. Connor's case before then, let Ms. Nelson know. But I think we'll just move it to inquiry/status, whatever it's going to be called, in early August.
That makes sense.
All right. Anything else, Ms. McCauley, on this one?
Nothing from the state.
Thank you so much. All right, that gets us to Andre Jordan, and Mr. Bernard Mr. Bernard is on. Good morning, Mr. Bernard.
Morning, Judge. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
So, what's the update on Mr. Jordan?
Judge, Ms. McCauley and I spoke, and I think what we're trying to do is maybe come up with a creative way to ensure that this doesn't happen again. I don't think that Mr. Jordan is gonna be is able to be restored. But I think that there are some steps that we can take to maybe mitigate any reoccurrence.
Is Mr. Jordan joining us? If I'm remembering correctly, he's Helen's iPad.
He is Helen's iPad, Judge.
There he is.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Jordan. How you doing?
Very good.
Good. Thank you for waving. I got you. Excellent. Okay. So what is a time frame that we ought to be thinking about for coming up with a creative way of ensuring that this doesn't happen again?
So I've asked Mr. Bernard to do a couple of things with his client. That may take some time. What do you think, Mr. Bernard? Like in August, September?
Judge, I think August or maybe September may be a better time frame to make sure we get everything done.
Okay. But you think that whatever these things are, you think you'll be in a position to achieve them or address them over the summer?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So why don't we put this sort of like Mr. Connor, but we'll just have it a month later. We'll put Mr. Jordan on for a status update in early September. If before then something's happened where we need to get together and talk about the case, let Ms. Nelson know. Otherwise, that's where we'll move it. I see Mr. Jordan has a pretty big bond, but because it's a bond through a bonding company, I assume he's not on pretrial supervision.
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. Anything I need to do to assist, or you guys will do what you need to do between now and early September?
I think we can take it from here. I think we got a pretty good plan about what needs to get accomplished.
Okay, great. Mr. Jordan, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, you staying out of trouble?
Yes.
Good. Glad to hear it. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to Helen for making her iPad available.
Thank you.
All right, you guys take care.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet. Ms. Rockwell, is that you who rejoined us? If you're the number that ends in all those zeros, I'm
That
muted.
is Miss Rockwell.
Can you hear me?
Now we can. Hey, Ms. Rockwell, how you doing?
Oh, well, I'm doing something for the first time today. I'm appearing via telephone, and the client is on my line also. We had a struggle with the Zoom appearance with her, so I got permission from the prosecutor before asking your permission, Judge, if we could appear on this platform. I just would have ordinarily had somebody else to help her, but we had some unforeseen circumstances this morning.
Okay, so Ms. Hamilton, can you hear me?
Yes.
You're out there? How are things going, Ms. Hamilton?
Not good.
Okay, doesn't sound good. Ms. Rockwell,
Here's kind of the short story. Her daughter, who's typically with her, etc., kind of running the show, helping her and taking care of her, got in a fight yesterday and went to jail. So Miss Hamilton didn't have her daughter to help us. So that's kind of what happened. But I notified Miss Hall of that also. So Miss Hall did talk on the phone with Miss Hamilton and I prior to us signing in at around 9 this morning.
is her daughter Jandesia Hamilton a co-defendant in this case?
Miss Hamilton?
I don't know what he's saying. I don't know.
What's your daughter's name, Miss Hamilton?
The one that take care of me is Jande Jandesta.
Okay, yeah, so she was she's resolved her charges, but she's a co-defendant in this case. So we had a referral to BHTC in July of 2019, so almost 2 years ago. And here we are. What do we need to do to move this case forward? Ms. Rockwell signed it, and maybe Judge Millender's signature on there. I can't tell that signature, but what's going on to move this case along?
So, Judge, for some reason, she's had some struggles and has tried to make that happen. It hasn't happened. She said that nobody's ever called her back. I can't verify that because I can't say that nobody called her back. I just was telling Miss Hall about the struggle that she's had. We reached out not too long ago when your litigation, I don't know what everybody's new title is, but wanted us to try again to make everything connect.
Yep.
And we gave the information, I gave the information to the family. And this morning when Tina called me back, she said that she had reached out. Of course, nobody told me this, that she had reached out, and even the Grady system that she's connected with also reached out. I cannot verify that.
So
that she reached out and nobody answered.
Got it. Well, I don't want us to spin our wheels trying to verify things from long ago. There's been personnel turnover, et cetera. If getting Ms. Hamilton into BHTC remains a viable option and it's something that the state supports, then we should do a fresh referral. You know, there's new paperwork, there are new people there, and that's one where I can measure the clock. I wasn't involved with this case when the previous one occurred. If that's not a viable option, then I need folks to tell me today what the plan is. This is a case from long ago. Ms. Hamilton's been locked up at least once because she missed court on this case. And I'm not getting the warm fuzzies that might not happen again, given what's going on in her life and her daughter's life. So if people think Ms. Hamilton would benefit from BHTC, then we ought to explore that again.
Can I just find out from Your Honor with the new paperwork, because I don't necessarily know that is going to be what the state agrees to or doesn't agree to. Are there still tracks in track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4? Are there still tracks in BHTC?
There are. They're not called that. There's a diversionary track, which is what you would call track 1. There's a new one, which is the pre-indictment track. You can get in before you're indicted. And then there's the one that is the most common one, which is what you would have called track 3, which is you get in as a result of your guilty plea to the charges. They just don't have the numbers anymore. So yes, they're different tracks.
Okay.
But we have a prosecutor sitting right here. So Ms. Hall can tell us what she thinks is a practical way to move forward. Ms. Hall, if you know that behavioral health treatment court is not in the cards from the state's perspective, then I guess we need to get this on a trial calendar or something. Tell me what you're thinking about the case.
No, the state, we don't have an objection to her going to deal with any type of mental issues that she's dealing with. The concern from the victim was that she do face some type of consequence for the actions and the effect that is happened to her life. And that didn't include jail time, that didn't include any type of prison time. We are okay with that option because I spoke with the defendant, her sister, and Ms. Rockwell this morning. There seems to be some type of issue that needs to be, some type of help that she needs. So we don't have an objection to that. I'm willing to start the paperwork. We have a different process in our office now where we start the paperwork.
Great.
And get that started. So I will talk with Ms. Rockwell after court and go ahead and get that process started. We don't have an objection to that because there's a problem that needs to be resolve with her mental.
Sure. Okay. Ms. Rockwell, were you able to hear that? I don't know. Ms. Hall's microphone wasn't on. Well, I'll recap it for you. Well, I'll summarize. The district attorney's office is supportive of what you would call a track 3 resolution to this case. But the referral paperwork starts, it sounds like these days, in the DA's office. So Ms. Hall is prepared to do some referral paperwork that would get Ms. Hamilton assessed, because of course it doesn't make sense to line up a plea with the primary feature of it being BHTC if BHTC won't accept Ms. Hamilton. So I'm going to ask Ms. Hall to start the referral process. She gets that paperwork to you and your client. Everyone has to sign it. It ultimately gets to me. And then that would tee it up for the accountability court to do an intake assessment of Ms. Hamilton. If they give the green light, then it's time for you, Ms. Rockwell and Ms. Hamilton, to have the heart-to-heart about, do you want to enter a plea and get yourself into BHTC, or do you want this case to go to trial? Because what I'm hearing Ms. Hall say is that the state would support a plea to probation with the primary condition of probation being that Ms. Hamilton complete BHTC.
That's what I understood too, Judge, and I'll talk to her separately about all this. Can we have an August date? And the only reason I ask for August, or give me something in July that's not during July 4th week. Are you there?
I'm there.
Okay, I lost you for a second. That's not during July 4th week, unless you think we'll still be in, I'll be on leave that week, but I mean, it doesn't matter where you are if you can phone in or Zoom in.
We can always Zoom you in. We'll always be able to Zoom you in. I don't want to set it too far out. This is a very old case.
Okay.
And just this brief interaction with Ms. Hamilton says to me, we need to keep moving towards getting her some help. So I'll get with Ms. Nelson.
Can we do July?
It'll either be late June or early July.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
But so we're clear.
Okay, do we not know the date now?
I'm not going to put Ms. Nelson on the spot. I don't know what that looks like, but we'll let you know. And that date would not be a date for us to come back and say, well, what do people think about BHTC? It would be a date to say, all right, let's resolve the case, because Ms. Hamilton would have already had her intake interview.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Understood. And I did identify a new person this morning when Ms. Hamilton's daughter was not present, / the co-defendant. I identified her power of attorney, which seems like might be a better fit to make things happen now. If the court just needs that extra assurance that now we have somebody else driving the train.
Sure. No, that's great.
Who's okay. Thank you so much, Judge. And Cassie, I'm going to contact you separately from this call. Judge, may we be excused?
Okay.
Almost. Ms. Nelson came up with the date of June 28th. Does that work on your calendar, Ms. Rockwell?
I don't know why that date, if that date's not good, I don't know why that date is making me nervous right now. But because I'm not going to be able, I'm going to lose you if I try to flip over to my calendar. Could we?
Well, we're going to put it down for June 28th. If you learn that it absolutely positively has to be moved, you can let Ms. Nelson know.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Goodbye, Ms. Hamilton. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Bye-bye.
So, Ms. Hall, you will get the referral paperwork moving, get it quickly as possible out of your hands so that Ms. Rockwell can move with it. Great. Thank you. All right. So if we get back on, Ms. Hines is next. That's position 5. Is Ms. Hines here? Hello, Ms. Hines. How are you doing? When you were last supposed to be here, you had just gotten in a car accident. You doing better? Great. All right. So it was final plea back then. It's final plea now. We didn't issue a bench warrant because you called, explained why you couldn't be there. Ms. Patel was there on your behalf. So it's time to figure out what we're doing today. Ms. Patel?
Your Honor, this is going to be a virtual PTI, and I believe Ms. Hall said that to Ms. Nelson.
Oh, I've got it in my inbox right here. Allow me to look at it. So, Ms. Hines, I have a proposal in front of me that would allow your charges to be dismissed, gone, if over the next few months you stay out of trouble, number 1, complete an anger management course, number 2, and complete 25 hours of community service. Is that your understanding of what you need to do? Is that something you think you can do? Okay. Any questions about that? Ms. Patel, does that reflect your understanding of what it was?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and we're here in May. 6 months from now is November, and then that's 3-4 more months. Any reason why it needed to be that many months to do those 2 things?
We initially discussed 6 months. I think we're just giving an extra cushion for when she had to appear in court between that and now, since they are being calendared fairly timely.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions, Ms. Hines? Ms. Hall, anything else in Ms. Hines's case? All right, so that's what we'll do. That does not mean your case is dismissed. In fact, it's not dismissed. But if you take care of this stuff by that date, then we're going to have another court date. And as long as you've provided documentation to Ms. Patel that you took care of things, then the charges will be dismissed, okay? All right. You're welcome. All right, Mr. Morero is next. You on there, Mr. Morero?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. Is Mr. Morero representing himself?
Your Honor, Mr. Herrera is my client. He had 2 conditions for his PTI to do a domestic violence course in community service. He did the course maybe a month or 2 after his sign up for virtual PTI. The community service is what is outstanding. He did 12 hours through church, but wasn't able to find anything else. I recently put him in touch with a contact at Piedmont Park that is doing community service during COVID. And so he's apparently got a service date set up. This is also the case, Your Honor, I don't know if you remember, we had to have a conference call because the order Ms. Hall and I agreed to was a little different from what Your Honor had filed. And that included a difference in when he was supposed to be due back in court. So the initial order was for September, which gave him a year to try to get this all done.
A year to do 25 hours of community service.
Because when we had initially
2 hours a month.
Correct. However, when we had put him in, when we had done this in September,
it was with understanding that he would have trouble finding community service, which is why Ms. Hall and I had talked, we weren't sure when he'd be able to get back onto doing that. With that being said, he does have 12 hours. I know that's not quite there. Mr. Marrero, when is your next service day?
I don't have an actual service day. I've been having trouble getting community service because of my charge. First of all, not just the coronavirus. The most companies I've called are not operating, like, let's say libraries and churches that will take me in, they're not operational. So then it says that most ones that are operational they don't want no violent charges, which is my charge is battery. And most of them said they can't take me. So I've been having trouble like finding someone that took me in, period. And then the ones that did are not even functioning. So
you've tried, but it's a 1-2 punch of pandemic and your charges. When they ask, well, what are you working on? It's not bad checks, it's aggravated battery. And then they say, well, you know what, we can't help you.
I talked to Hands On Atlanta, and the guy even made a comment like, you're not gonna hurt anybody, are you? Like, it's kind of like, I don't know. So what he did sign me up for at 12 today. I have a meeting, orientation for Hands On Atlanta to get started. So I guess they're like letting me in, but I don't know what the result's gonna be after I let them know my charges and whatnot. I did a background check and whatnot. So today I have a Zoom meeting with them at 12 o'clock. So that's progress being made. And also on top of that, just to know, my job won't transfer me. I'm working right now still. And my job will transfer me to Florida. So I have to get this done no matter what, any which way. So
Excellent. That's good pressure. I appreciate your job doing that. What is your job?
I'm a chef at Morton Steakhouse. I'm a steak chef.
And they literally, like, you specialize just in steaks? You don't cook chops or chicken, just steak?
I do chops and chicken and whatnot, but steaks are my specialty. That's what I do.
All right. And they want you to go to one of their outlets in Florida?
Yeah, Del Frisco Grill.
Okay. And when do they want that to happen?
By July 1st. That's like in the future, a month and change away. So I told them about my case and everything. They know about my case and whatnot. So.
Good. Okay. Well, I'm excited for you if that's what you want to do. You obviously need to figure out a way to knock out those last little bits of community service, but it looks like you are full court press now.
Yes, sir. So Hands On Atlanta is my best bet. After the Zoom meeting, I'll contact Ms. Patel and let her know the progress.
Okay. So when should we check in again? It sounds like it would be pretty valuable to Mr. Marrero to not have charges anymore if he's going to go to Florida. So assuming he gets 13 more hours, let's put a placeholder date. If he can document it, he doesn't need to dial in for the state to live up to its end of the bargain. But I guess late June, because he's trying to get out of here. And so maybe a month out.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a household that will be moving with you, Mr. Marrero, or just you moving to Florida?
Well, it's a lot been going on this past year. I actually got engaged and everything. So I have a whole family.
That's great. Yeah. See how things change? Congratulations.
Yeah. I kind of turned around, man, for the better though.
Good. So. I like those stories. I'm happy for you and for the wonderful person to whom you're engaged. All right. So we will set this for June 22. June 22. You will not need to dial in and sit on the phone for 2 hours if you're taking care of everything. And you know this, but it bears repeating. Get documentation of whatever you do. If you knock out 13 hours with Hands On Atlanta, you need paperwork to give to Ms. Patel because that's what she needs to give to Ms. Hall.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any questions?
No, sir.
Ms. Patel, anything else in Mr. Marrero's case?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Hall? All right. Well, we'll see everyone June 22. Good luck, Mr. Marrero.
Thank you.
We took care of Ms. Wen. That gets us to Justin Smith.
Mr. Smith's case will be my case, Your Honor. I honestly did not attempt to reach out before court. I have a number in the file, but I have not yet called. I just overlooked reaching out before court in anticipation of him being present.
So what I'll do is give you, I say 24 hours, whatever reasonable short window to try to contact him. And if that's successful, then we can stand down. But otherwise, I'm assuming you want a bench warrant for Mr. Smith, which we'll do, but certainly you can have a chance to reach him.
Thank you.
And if it's just let Ms. Nelson know, hey, I reached the guy. He's going to walk in on Monday or whenever we next have a calendar.
Okay.
And we'll handle it that way. He's here as a repeat offender. It's old stuff out of the cab. All right. Nedra Edwards. Hello, Ms. Edwards. How are you? Your lawyer is on the call. He's been waiting patiently. There he is. Hey, Mr. Bridges.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for your patience. We were on plea and arraignment back in April, and we had this confusing situation. Is Mr. Gregory the lawyer? Is Mr. Bridges the lawyer? I will note that Mr. Bridges is here and Ms. Edwards is here and Mr. Gregory is not. Have we gotten to the bottom of that, Mr. Bridges?
Your Honor, believe it or not, I've called Mr. Gregory several times, and I actually end up talking to, I don't know who I talked to, but he told me that they're not handling the case anymore. I didn't talk to Mr. Gregory. Let me tell you right now, I never talked to Mr. Gregory, but the person from the office told me that Mr. Gregory is not handling the case anymore. So I will be the attorney handling the case going forward, Your Honor.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that persistence. We've had similar experiences. So let me see where we are on the case. Whoa, got a lot of defendants here. All right, Ms. Edwards. Mr. Bridges is listed as lead attorney. That's a good thing. And there was some discovery provided, and there was already a waiver. So we just need to put a scheduling order in place, which we'll do now that we know Mr. Bridges is the right lawyer to get that. Have you received the discovery, Mr. Bridges, or has that been going somewhere else?
No, Your Honor, I received the discovery. Ms. Hall provided the discovery. The only thing we're missing is the drug results.
Okay. What we're all waiting on. Okay, yes, fantastic. So we'll get a scheduling order in place, and then Ms. Edwards, what'll happen next is either Mr. Bridges, after consulting with you, will file some motions. If he doesn't think they're motions that need to be filed, we'll get your case on the trial calendar. If it's something that's going to work out before then, Mr. Bridges lets my staff know, and we'll get you in here for a plea or a dismissal or whatever it is people think is going to happen in your case. I want to make sure we've got good contact information for you. I've got an address of Newman Street in East Point. Is that still you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you have any questions?
How do I go about obtaining the discovery package?
Hey, what?
The discovery package for this case?
You'll want to talk with Mr. Bridges. Do you have a good phone number for him?
I haven't talked to any attorney on this case since it's been here since January.
Okay, well, we can fix that. There was some confusion, not your fault, to be clear, where Mr. Gregory was here and he filled out some paperwork. Mr. Bridges was saying, I think I was assigned this case because there's so many defendants. We got into the conflict attorney side of things. Mr. Bridges needed to make sure we cleared up who your lawyer was so that we weren't talking to the wrong person. Is there a phone number you want to give Mr. Bridges since he can see and hear you right now so he can reach out to you?
It's 478-812-2515.
Did you get that, Mr. Bridges?
No, can she repeat it again? I heard 478.
It's 478 812 2515.
Okay. And Ms. Edwards, also, I talked to your sister, so she has my contact information too.
Who is that? I'm sorry.
Do you have a sister?
You have a sister? I assume it was your sister I talked to.
You gonna get a name or any information?
No,
from
I
her?
did not get her name. She was half asleep when I was talking to her, but the number I reached her at was the 404-645-9064.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my mother.
Your mother? Okay, I talked to your mother then. Yeah, okay.
She's very young sounding when she's half awake. So Mr. Bridges has been trying to reach out. He got your mom. If he should have a different number for you,
Contact number, I just gave him the 478 number.
that's the best way to reach you. Okay. So Mr. Bridges, if you wouldn't mind reaching out to Ms. Edwards, I think she wants to see the discovery and you two will talk. This is one of those cases with a bunch of defendants, so it may well be some of these things get resolved real easily and real quickly. You're certainly entitled to all that stuff, and Mr. Bridges will make sure you
I tried
get it.
to obtain it. I called Zone 1, and Zone 1 said that I had to get it from the courthouse.
Yeah, the police aren't going to give you anything. What is in the docket here, which is publicly available, the certificate of discovery, that's 50 pages of discovery. So you could get it by going to the clerk's office. Do they charge per page?
Yes, they do, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can pay for it. Do I get it downstairs when I go out?
Yeah, fifth floor of the other building. The buildings are connected.
I'll show.
Okay, yeah. All right, so you can go, Mr. Franklin, he'll show you which, but it's this one big complex in
Sorry,
this
it took me
block.
30 minutes to get here. My court case is scheduled at 9:30. I didn't get here till 10 o'clock because of all the witches days to get
Well, we
here.
got new signs that's supposed to help. Apparently it's not working.
No,
But the
it's not.
fifth floor of the building that's connected, so it's the Prior Street side.
Okay.
You just need to have this case number. Do you have your case number?
It
It should be
my
on,
court papers.
it should be on your court notice.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Did she have something to write with? Because I can give her my telephone number. She can call me.
Yeah, we'll get that too. Just hold on one sec. It should be 20 SC.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So they'll be able to look that up. And I'm looking at 50 pages of discovery here. It's going to be really underwhelming because it's almost all like the warrants for your co-defendants, but there's a little bit about it. There's a police report.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm like clearly unaware of the whole situation.
You don't have to apologize. Mr. Bridges is
That's
here.
why I asked for the discovery package, so then I know better how to handle the situation. But I don't even.
No. Do you have a pen? Here's a pen coming your way. Mr. Bridges can give you a good phone number.
Okay.
It's 404.
Okay.
800.
Okay.
4750.
I attempted to reach you on my way here. I'm sorry. I got like a busy signal.
Well, he may have been on this. He may have been on this,
Yeah,
which is why it's busy.
assumed.
Yeah, so you can get it. There's a search warrant that was conducted at a house on Beckwith,
Yes, sir.
and that's what this is all about. They say you were in the house, and there was stuff in the house. It doesn't mean it's yours, and you and Mr. Bridges will talk about constructive possession and all sorts of things like that, okay?
Okay.
Are you done, Mr. Franklin? So you can, wait, Mr. Franklin, not your lawyer, but a great lawyer, will help you find the clerk's office. You've got a good number for Mr. Bridges, and he'll let you know when your next court date is, but we'll also send something to you at that Newman address.
Okay, thank
All
you
right?
so much.
All right, thanks for being here.
Your Honor, concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir.
You all have a good day.
All right, we're almost done. One position, no, we are done because position 10 was the arraignment we already did. All right. No wonder people were packing up. It's like, wait, we're not done. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Thanks, Ms. Nelson.
You're welcome.
Oh, we got a gentleman
You're
sitting right
welcome.
here. Hold on, we have someone here. Don't leave, Ms. Nelson.
Okay, I'm here.
right.
No, I'm here.
You are? Do you have a case number?
I'm not recognizing the name. He's my client.
Okay.
So we need to.
A motion hearing. Okay, say your last name again. Cisneros. And the first name? Malik. I'll look it up. Everyone's looking in their devices.
No motions were filed. I think it went to trial.
Here you are. Death by receiving. Okay, there's a scheduling order. Mr. Cisneros clearly got it. Thank you for getting it to him. It says if there were motions filed, they'd be heard today, but there weren't motions filed. So it's good you're here. I mean, better to be here than not here. I'm sorry we didn't engage you earlier today. And Mr. Franklin will talk to you, but he, after reading all the discovery, decided there weren't motions that we needed to talk about as a large group. And so today was a placeholder in case there were those motions, but there weren't. So you guys talked, but we're good. That was the last date on the scheduling order. Does that make sense? Thank you, Mr. Cisneros. All right, everyone, have a good Thursday. And I guess I don't see you guys tomorrow. I have a motion for new trial tomorrow. In case I didn't try.
See him on Tuesday.
Tuesday, we see you guys.
Right.
Tuesday, we try out those booths at the jail.
Oh.
So fingers crossed they work. We've tested them and we'll see how that goes. So Tuesday morning is that another motion for new trial. Oh, no, just motions with Mr. Shepard. Okay.
All right.
Ms. Hall, the Tuesday afternoon with I had Mr. Shepard here yesterday for a motion for new trial. I said, I think I'm seeing you soon. And he said, yeah, it's interesting. It's like an armed robbery case, but this guy has a murder case out there. Okay. All right. But is it lots of I know when Mr. Shepard files something,